Hi. Hi, everyone. So looks like we're live now. I'm glad to be here today. My name is Julia. I'm Director of Engineering here at Hystax, and we're going to talk about how to build reliable disaster recovery for OpenStack. An agenda for today's meeting is not that big. We'll talk a little bit about our company in general for the people who are new to us. There will be a very quick overview of Acura and a live demo that will include several main parts. It's Hystax OpenStack sync tool, mass installation of the Linux agent, and automatic launch of failover when the replicated instance goes down. And of course, we'll have some time to answer your questions. So a couple of words about Hystax in general. Hystax is a global leader in cloud migration and in cross-cloud and hybrid cloud disaster recovery. We have customers spanning 5 continents and offices in 4 countries, with more than 80,000 machines migrated and 5,000 replicated for disaster recovery instances. With our current product that is called Hystax Acura, we have strong in-depth experience in cross-cloud disaster recovery, protection, and migration between public and private clouds. And now we're working on a new cloud arbitrage platform because working with our partners and customers, we see how complex cloud cost management could be. And every cloud has its own billing model, hundreds of resources in the cloud that should be counted and kept also under control to avoid the situation when you receive a bill that is 2 or 3 times more than you expected. That's why we decided to create this management platform that will provide cloud arbitrage, and it's called OpScale. Moving forward, here you can see a selection of the platforms that our solution works with. The chat right over here shows that we're true end-to-end. We support from the source side quite a lot of platforms, and actually we're not dependent on the platform, on the source platform, as far as we have both replication agents that can be installed to the machines internally and external agents. And as for the target, of course, you might see that there are quite a lot of target platforms that we support, starting from all public clouds and of course the private ones like VMware, OpenStack, Flexible Engine, and so on. The main points that we're gonna discuss today. First of all, how to I want to pay your attention to a challenge that might appear during the preparation process of some DR or migration project. Of course, there is a need to recreate some infrastructure parts to start a project, like networks, to get some key pairs to be copied, and so on and so forth. And we'll talk about how to prepare a target OpenStack project and how Hystax here might be useful to you. The other challenge, but not less important, is how to install an internal agent to a bunch of VMs at once. So there is quite a typical situation when customers needs to install internal agents to like 100 VMs, 200 VMs, and so on and so forth. And of course, it's quite time consuming. So we have some scripts that might be helpful for our customers and save their time during this process. And the last point that is quite crucial for DR is how to automatically run a failover of their replicated machine. So DR, of course, stands for the need to provide a customer continuous running of his instances, and how Hystax here might be useful to actually provide this automatical start at failover instances once the replicated machine goes down. So what is Hystax OpenStack Sync? It's basically a set of command line tools to perform a migration of OpenStack objects between two cloud projects. It will help to prepare the target project for the migration or disaster recovery pre-configuration. So the requirements, they're quite simple. It's just Python 3.5 and several models to be installed. All of this is provided, the models and the requirements file is, of course, provided by our team when customer needs to use this OpenStack sync tool. And the tool allows to migrate network security groups, key pairs between the project that makes preparation of the target project more easier. And here, Hystax OpenStack Sync saves much time because, of course, recreating each part of the infrastructure might be quite time consuming. But here are a couple of comments that the script has. So as far as I mentioned, that we work with key pairs, VPCs, and security groups. By VPCs, I mean networks. All of these might be copied like only partially, or all of the supported points and might be copied at once. But just not to waste our time, here is my command line. And what I've already done, I've already installed Python 3.5 right over here. It will be command line just because there are scripts to do a sync between the projects. I created already the virtual environment because I just want the models to be installed as in the isolated environment, and I've installed a couple of models with a provided requirements file. So what I have right over here, as you might see, is of course the README file that has like the full information about the script, how to use it, what it's used for, and so on and so forth, and the script itself, and a configuration file. What is inside this configuration plan? Configuration file. Sorry, this config file has information about the source and target projects, and it also has credentials to both source and target platforms or clouds, and it is used by the script to get access to the project, and of course to read and then write all of the properties. So here is my OpenStack and my source project, Snowdrop. Right over here, I will use, for example, security groups. I want to copy all my security groups. I have like 5 security groups right over here in my source project. And I have a new project that is called Demo. And this demo project has only the default security group that is created automatically when a project is created. So I want these security groups to be copied from the source project to the target one. All I need to do is just to start the script. Python .py, sorry, py, set my dump.file, and specify the resource that I want to copy. And here it's security groups. Oh, sorry, something's okay. Sorry, something. Just give me a second. Sorry. Dump file. Let me check. Deactivate the virtual environment and reactivate it. Source bin activate. Yep. Okay. And sorry, I'll do a bit list just to get the list of the installed libraries, installed models. So yeah, I need OpenStack SDK mostly to run, but I'm getting some error about this dump file resource. No, everything's fine. Okay. Sorry, I can't figure out right now what's going on. I have like the other. I have like the other terminal right over here, and I will share this terminal with you as I don't know what's going on right here with this environment. So sorry for this. Here you might see is the different. I know where my mistake is. No, I don't know. Sorry. Okay, so as you might see, here is also my demo folder, and with this host folder that has inside the files that I've just shown you. So it's just README, the same .py config file, and I'm gonna do again right over here from this terminal has that .py. Dump file will get the dumped resources from the source project, and they will be saved to this dump file. So later I would be able just to use this dump file to sync the resources. Minus resource and security group. Yeah. So there was something wrong with the environment, but I just don't want to say to spend time on figuring out what's wrong. Okay, so as you might see, the security groups they have started syncing, and here is the information that there were 4 security groups created. The 5th one hasn't been created as far as the default group is already there. And let's go to that demo project and check if they're really security if security groups are really there. Yeah, so here they are. Here are my security groups that have been migrated from one source project to the other target project. I won't waste your time on showing all the comments. Everything will be quite similar. So if you need any of this, just please contact our support. The next point that we're going to discuss today is mass installation of replication agents. Of course, the process of installing internal agents on large number of source machines might be quite tiresome and time-consuming. So to make this process easier, we suggest our customers to use special scripts developed by our team to install replication agents directly to a bunch of VMs. In case of Windows, there is PowerShell script that we provide to our customers, and in case of Linux, it's Ansible playbook. As far as today, we're going to talk about the Linux agent, and I will show you actually how it works. I'm in the mass installation of the Linux agent. A couple of words about the script. Again, the requirements are quite simple, so just Python again 3.5 and Ansible. And Ansible to start the playbook. Create an inventory file. As far as Ansible works with inventory files to manage hosts. Get customer ID from Acura so that the required replication agents would be downloaded from Acura, and agents would be registered to the required customers. I will show like a small trick how to get customer ID from Acura UI, and simply run Ansible playbook with this set of parameters to get Linux agents installed to like a bunch of VMs. Going back to the demo part, here is my source project Snowdrop LLC. As far as for OpenStack, I need to install internal agents to each of VM. I have like 4 CentOS VMs right over here that are not protected yet. I will show how to install Linux agents to all of these VMs at once. So Ansible script will Ansible playbook will help to download an agent to each VM and install the agent. Here's my Acura. I have only one machine already protected right over here, and here is my terminal. Here I have this playbook that is provided by our team to install agents to a bunch of VMs. I've prepared this inventory file. I can show it to you. Snowdrop CentOS, I called it, and here are my VMs. All I need to do to install the engines to actually run a playbook. The inventory file with the hosts, with the list of hosts, Acura API, sorry, not API, IP, of course, Acura IP, and customer ID. So where to get the customer ID? Right now, I'm on the customer page, and to get the ID, I need to actually just copy it from the URL. That's it. That's the ID that needs to be copied and pasted to the playbook command. I simply click enter, and here the process starts. Ansible starts this way. It connects to all of the hosts, gets the URL for RPM as far as it sent us. The system detects not the system, but the playbook. The playbook detects that we're working with CentOS. Therefore, we need RPM, not deb packages, to be downloaded, and it starts the downloading process. Of course, it will take some time to download for agents, install them, and so forth. And not to waste our time, I want to pay your attention to the schema and say a couple of words about the network, the ports that we use, how Acura components communicate with each other. Here is Acura controller. As you might know, it's deployed to the target cloud. Here is like an OpenStack, and Acura is an instance running in this OpenStack. And there are replication agents that are installed either to VMs in case of internal agents, or they are, or in case of external agent, it's going to be like a single VM that is deployed on a hypervisor level and detects all the machines on this host. But even in case of external and internal agents, the ports that are used to communicate with Acura are the same. It's 443 to communicate with the main part with the rest of the Acura controller, and UDP 12201 to send the logs from the agent directly to the Acura controller. One of the services that is running inside Acura is Hystax. So all of the logs they are stored in ILK. That is quite useful to manage to search through the logs to get some useful information in one place. And of course, Acura controller communicates with the target cloud itself. As for OpenStack, there are a bunch of ports that are used by each services, and it depends on the installation. So the ports might be different, and these ports are accessed by TCP from Acura controller. And of course, these ports, they must be open for Acura to be able to communicate with the target cloud and call its API. Of course, in case of, for example, closed port 5000, for example, like it's a standard port for Keystone, and if it's closed, Acura will not be able to access it, to get the token and to call all other APIs of the cloud, of course. There are also several ports that are used to work with Cloud Agent. Hystax Cloud Agent is a service VM that is run in the target project. And two ports, TCP 3260 and TCP 80 are used by Cloud Agent. And of course, if these ports are closed, Acura will not be able to connect to the Cloud Agent that is running in the target project, and will not be able to do any replication or to do any failover process, because Cloud Agent is quite important and used in both of these operations, because it gets attached volumes from the target machines, and of course none of the above processes will be possible. And one more port that is used by Hystax Cloud Agent is TCP 15,000, and this port is used by Cloud Agent for the update process. So once the controller itself is updated, all of the containers, all of the images, everything is updated. And to get the update from the main controller, Acura Cloud, Hystax Cloud Agent needs this port to be open to actually get the update. Yeah, looks like I've already mentioned all the ports, and let's check the installation process. Okay, so the installation process is complete. The script helped to download an agent, to install Linux replication agent from the upstream package, and to remove the package file, just not to store it on the machine. Let's check the interface. Okay, yeah, here are my machines. They have just appeared right over here. So all of the agents have successfully been installed. As you might see, the script saved us some time to log into each VM and download agent, install it, and enter some comments. So I saved my time right over here. The next point and last one that we're going to talk about today, how to actually automate the process, the failover launch. As far as Acura is fully covered with REST API, it makes quite easy the process of automation. So all the operations that are available from the interface for our users, they all might be used and might be called with Acura APIs. Each user that uses Acura, when he logs in, he gets some token. So here, everything is the same with the API. I need to get the token, and then I might do some operations, call some APIs of Acura. The advantage, of course, of using the API is to call failover automatically once the source machine goes down. The monitoring tools, they might be different, and the monitoring processes might be different, and it of course depends on the company, on some security policies that it has. For example, some companies would prefer to ping VMs to monitor their life. Some would prefer to monitor some particular services and some particular ports that maybe work with these services, and so on. So, for example, so of course, the way how to monitor the instance running, it might be different. And here we'll show like my simple script that is pinging a VM. To check if it's alive, and when a VM is down, it calls the APIs, it gets the token and calls the API to launch a failover process. So what my API call will do, it will start a failover for this machine that has already been protected, file server. Instead of doing all of this, I will run my script. Here is the source OpenStack. Here's my instance file server. It's running, as you might see. I'm gonna run my script. So the script is just pinging the server to check if it's up or not. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just shut down the instance. For example, I have some electricity issue, some network issue, and my server is by some reason unavailable. It's powered off or just unavailable by network. Let's check what's happening. Okay, so the script, it says that, okay, the machine is down, it's no longer pingable. I'm getting the token for the user that I have in Acura. I can log in to Acura, and obviously I have some user. I receive the token, and I use this token to call the API to start the failover process. Of course, there might be some complex monitoring tools that might even send notifications about the processes and so on. And for these systems, I would rather recommend to use Acura API to call failover in case if something happens. And here is my cloud site. I called it script cloud site just to know that it's running from script. It's creating right now. Creation is in progress. And if I go here to my OpenStack, as far as my targeted demo project, I'm going to check what's happening right over here. Here is my file server that has just started. Time, you might see that time since created is 0 minutes, so it has just started. And I want to check the console. Okay, the machine is booted. Okay, let me check and log in right over here. Okay, yeah. So the failover machine is running, and actually the demo from my side is complete. Thank you for your attention, and now I'm ready to answer your questions. I heard some bells ringing about the questions. Okay. So the first question: what about a failback? Is the target VM going to replicate automatically when the source to the source when a DR action is performed? Okay, a lot of questions. I will answer them one by one. What about the failback? Okay, is the target VM going to replicate automatically to the source when a DR action is performed? As for the failback, it also might be automated. I mean, the process, as far as all the APIs that are available from the UI, all the actions that are available from the UI, all of them might be automated. And by default, there is no ability to automatically start a failback because we actually don't know when the customer needs failback. Only he knows when his source machine are down and there is real disaster and he needs to start a failover. So it must be his monitoring tools that will start this failover. And for example, in case of some hardware issues, of course, we'll not be able to detect when the failback process needs to start. There will be failover instances running for some time, working instead of the production for some time until the customer himself restores the infrastructure to perform a failback, to restores his platform to perform a failback too. And once the failback platform, the failback hardware is ready, the failback process might also be started with APIs. Of course, there might be scripts that will call particular APIs responsible for the failback process. That's it. Or I have to configure replication from target to source again in order to do a failback. I would say that a failback here is a little bit more complex because it depends on the target platform. So there are several platforms that we support automatic fallback for. It's VMware, OpenStack, and Flexible Engine. So for these three platforms, we support automatic fallback, full automatic. But for all of the platforms that we support, it's of course, and Azure, AWS, GCP, Alibaba, and all of these public clouds might also have the fallback. But the process will be a little semi-automated because there will need to there is one step that will need to be done, and this step is to get immigration kit from our support team. So a fallback to public clouds will be mostly like immigration from the different source. It will be like migration of failover instances to the other target, to AWS, for example. But this way it's possible. What version of OpenStack is supported as target tenant? Also is Huawei Cloud Stacks is 6.5.1 supported. So as for OpenStack, we started with Metaka, the support, but all of the above versions are supported. We mostly need like 12 APIs from the target cloud to be available for us. And as for OpenStack, these APIs haven't been changed for the last 5 years, I suppose. Yeah, so OpenStack we support quite a lot of platforms, starting from the Metaka one. As for Huawei Cloud, here we also depend on the API. I'm not sure about that particular version, 6.5.1, but if the API haven't been changed from the Huawei Cloud, then it's automatically supported. I mean, the next version. Are the ports bidirectional? I mean, two-way. Okay, the question here was about this diagram. So no, the ports are not bidirectional. Here are the arrows that you might see, and this arrow shows to which side we need connection by some ports to. So it will be either outbound or inbound ports. So here Acura needs to get the traffic from the replication agent by these ports, and replication agents needs to be able to send the traffic via these ports. Another question, the error in a Python file. Okay, I will check what was there. Thank you. Python 3, the next question is where 3.5 Python need to be installed. It needs to be installed to the VM from which the script will be launched. So it might be some service VM if you have such policies and you are not able to install some software directly to your VM, or it might be your VM and you will just download it from the official website of Python. Are you recording this? Yes, we're of course recording this, and we'll send you the recording after the meeting. May we use this tool to take a so-called snapshot of the system, including network, and so on, and store it in later time to a similar OpenStack system? Yes, you might use this tool to create like snapshots. As far as Hystax OpenStack sync tool, it also has in one of the parameters the dump file. This dump file will have like what is called a snapshot of the system, of the resources that will be specified, either key pairs or networks or security groups or all of the above. The other question, is there a resource download the scripts PowerShell to push the large environments? Yes, of course. Please contact our support team. They will be glad to send you the scripts directly. Could you please share this presentation? Yes, of course. I think that we have the list of people to send this presentation to, but you also will have an ability to watch this webinar when it's done and when the recording is ready. Okay, the next question is, what if target volume type is different than source? Not a problem at all, because Acura has a way to specify some particular volume type for the replicated volumes. For example, right over here, here are my machines that haven't been protected yet, and I can set additional replication settings right over here and set some volume type for this particular machine. The next question is, what is the trigger point of failover? Who triggers it? So as far as I mentioned, it's up to the customer to trigger failover. So it might be some test failover that he needs to run. For example, of course, in case of DR, there needs to be some test failovers that will be run from time to time, just to make sure that the replication process is going fine. And in case of disaster, some real disaster, the customer will be able to start the failover instances and to have them booted. So it's up to end customer either to have some monitoring tools to get the current system state and trigger the failover process when the system is down, or by some service providers that are working with end customers to again monitor the source systems and to trigger by the APIs, by Acura APIs, the failover processes when the system is down. The next question is the communication from Acura server to API gateway. What port is used? Not sure that I got the question. Was it what is API gateway? So Ahmed, if you could somehow maybe explain the question a bit, or just I haven't got what is API gateway. The next question is, I know that this session is about OpenStack, but I have a question about Viewer. No problem. If you have source VM with RDM disks, you can replicate this disk from an agent installed inside the source VM, but can the target be another RDM in the target environment? Unfortunately not. I mean, in case of from the Acura side and VMware as a target, there is no ability to set RDM as the target for this particular machine. So if we're talking about the migration, when the migration process of this the machine is complete, there might be some configurations from the target side, but it will be outside Acura. Okay, I got that clarification about the question. Okay, in the draw, you showed that first connection from the top TCP. Okay, Here we go. The communication from Acura server to API gateway. What port is? These ports, they depend on the installation. So, for example, by default, Keystone, OpenStack Keystone is might have two ports opened, 35357 and 5000. So during the initial configuration, there will be one of the steps to provide Keystone endpoint, and as far as the ports might be different, we just don't specify here some particular list of ports, because in OpenStack, it's more flexible than in, for example, VMware to set some particular ports to work for some OpenStack services. I think that I managed to answer your question. Please let me know if there is more explanation needed. Is the agent installed inside each source VM or a dedicated agent running in a source VM? Sorry again. Is the agent installed inside each source VM? Dedicated. Okay, in case of VMware, there might be an external agent used and deployed to some ESXi host, and in this case, a single agent, external agent, will work with all the machines on the ESXi host. But in case of any other hypervisor, for example, or parallel machine, there needs to be an internal agent installed inside each source VM, and that's why the agents, they are called internal, because they are running inside source machines. Do you have architecture document to share? Yeah, actually, our site has quite a lot of documents about the architecture and so on. So yeah, just visit our website to get the resources and so on. Where is Acura controller running in source client send a request to controller? So Acura controller, it runs on the target side all the time. It's like a rule that Acura controller must be deployed to the target side, and the source client sends all requests to a controller. Yes, that is true. The next question is, can you migrate selective resources from within a VM to selective resources to another VM? No, unfortunately not, because we do lift and shift. We take like the whole VM and we replicate the whole VM as it is. The next question. Oh, sorry, I missed part of the question, of the previous question. If I don't want to migrate the entire VM, but only partition inside the source VM to appear as a partition in a target VM. In case of internal agents, there is an ability to exclude drives, to exclude volumes from the replication process. And for example, if you have a Windows machine with like 10 volumes and you want only C volume to be replicated, no problems with this. Okay, the next question: how you replicate a single volume data? We are replicating instances. So as I've just mentioned, we do lift and shift. So we replicate the whole machines as they are. The next question: the data flow from replication agent to cloud agent requires to go through the Hystax tenant controller, meaning inbound and inbound traffic on the tenant for every replication link. Yes, that is true. Right now, we're working on a so-called receiver mesh that will exclude this like double traffic. So yeah, we're working on this. Thank you. Is there a test documented integration practice reference with our cloud stack on any version? Yeah, we do have quite a lot of case studies with our partners. They also available on our website. Please contact us at info@hystax.com to get any particular case study that you are interested in, and maybe some details of this case study. The next question: in our case, the replication is happening over a public network. So do you have any tunnel or transport encryption for data being replicated? As far as we use HTTPS, so we're already protected with this a little bit, but As for the internal encryption, we don't use it. We send blocks of data. So sending blocks of data via the HTTPS is actually quite safe process. Most important to understand how you're reading data of a volume attached to source VM to replicate to target. Okay, we do have replication agents to read the data from the source VMs. And for Linux, we have our own driver that creates snapshot for Linux. The same does VSS for us in case of Windows. Okay, so looks like we're done with the questions, quite a lot of them. Thank you so much for your interest, for your questions. And have a good day. Have a good day and have a good night in case if it's already evening in your country. Bye, thank you.